Let's continue on. Problem number 12 is much like the one we just finished. Draw everybody. Okay, only this time they backed off a little bit further. They just gave us the name 2,3-butane diol. So butane means 3 or 4 carbons, I'm sorry, a little early in the morning. Okay, and again, I always go left to right if I get to choose. So 2 and 3, and diol means those are OHs. And now everybody else is hydrogens, since that's my only attachments. 3 hydrogens here, 3 hydrogens here, H and H. And I have 2 chiral centers, okay? Because this guy has 1, 2, 3, 4 attachments, and this guy has 1, 2, 3, 4 attachments. Remember, this is not a C and a C, this is a CH3 attachment, and this is a C, HOH, CH3. We consider the whole group. So I'm going to have 2 chiral centers. Now, just like with problem 10, the first thing I look at is, am I going to have a meso? Because RR, when you have 2 chiral centers, SS, RS, and SR. And these two may be equivalent and give you a meso. And the way we look at that is if our 2 chiral centers have exactly the same 4. 3 out of 4 isn't good enough. The 4 attachments. They both have an OH. They both have an H. They both have a CH3. And last but not least, H or CHOH CH3. HOH CH3. So the big attachment is the same as well. So what that means is these two are identical. We could draw them both out, but we'd find if we went this way and this way, we had the same thing. We had that meso. Because when they have the same 4 attachments, that means S and R, SR and RS are just backwards. Okay? If we went SR, RS, we'd have the same exact thing. So what that means is we're only going to have to draw 3 things this time. So that's kind of good. So we draw our chain. Our first one is always the hardest. Up to a C, down to a C, up to a CH3. Now I put these guys in because that's what I'm going to use to give my stereochemistry. Always seems to be, if you're on an up C, if you put them going up, if you're on a down C, put them going down, they don't get smashed in here and make a mess. Okay? So now let's assign priorities to this first one. Of course, this is going to be number 1. H is number 4. Going this direction to get this big group is 2, and my CH3 will be 3. So the big group is 2, and the CH3 is 3. So it looks to me, 2, 3, 2, 3. I'm going clockwise. So I want to make sure that I set these two such that what I see on paper is what I get. Because I'm going clockwise, and I want this to be R and R. R is clockwise, so it better remain so. And if I put number 4 backwards in the back, what I see on paper is what I get. So here's my hydrogen, and my big group is this, okay? Group OA is OH is number 1. My big group was already here as part of the chain, okay? So I continued with my clockwise 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and by putting hydrogen back, I made sure that what I see on paper is what I get, and that's R. Moving on to the next guy. Same thing. This is priority 1, H is 4, CH3 is 3, and the rest of the chain is 2. So here again is 3 and 2. And once again, 2, 3, I've started out clockwise. So if I want that to stick, if I want that to stay, that what I see on paper is what I get, which is what I need because I need it to be R. I need to put my hydrogen, which is priority 4, back, and my OH forward. Since the OH is priority 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're all good. This is RR. So SS, now everybody else is easy, right? Because SS, reverse the dash and the wedge, reverse the dash and the wedge, and leave everything else the same, and I'll have SS, because if you switch two, you get the opposite. CH3. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to put the dash here still, just like it was before, the wedge here. Don't change anything else. If you reverse more than two things, you're toast. So everything looks exactly the same up till here, but now I'm going to put the OH on the dash and the H on the wedge. I'm going to put the OH on the dash and the H on the wedge. Okay? And last but not least, I only have to draw one more because we decided these two were equivalent and a meso. So CH3, and it doesn't matter which one you choose to draw. Alrighty. Everything else in the same place. Okay? Dash, wedge, dash, wedge. I want this to be R. I just chose RH arbitrarily. Doesn't matter. If you drew SR, you drew one of them too. So if R, and this is R, so I keep these the same. But now since I'm drawing RS, and this is RR, I got to switch these two. So I put the OH here, and the H there. And now I've drawn RS, so I'm done. Okay? Of course, the other one, they couldn't have been as nice to us. Had to make us draw more things. We have two chiral centers right here. Okay, so potentially we have R, R, S, S, RS, and SR. So our first assignment is to see, are we going to have to draw 4 of these or only 3 of them? Are these two equal in a meso? And to check that out, we see, do they have the same 4 attachments? And it's pretty obvious right away that they don't. They both have H and OH, but this has a CH3 and this has an ethyl group. So we're toast. We got to draw 4. Okay? So let's make our chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long. I'm going to leave that one because it's chiral. Leave this one up to the CH2, down to the CH3. Okay? Then dash, 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 and wedge, which I'll figure out what I'm going to put on dash, 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 and wedge. Okay? Start with this one. We're going to start with RR again, which means we want clockwise for the numbers. Okay? With hydrogen back, or number 4. Hydrogen is 4 this time. This is 1. This big group out here will be number 2, and our CH3 will be 3. So it looks like this is group 2, and this is 3. So we've already started that clockwise business, 2, 3, 2, 3. So if I put number 4 back and number 1 here, I'll be okay. So hydrogen goes back. OH, which is priority 1, goes there. 1, 2, 3, it's clockwise. And because I put hydrogen back, what I see on paper is what I get. Okay? This guy, OH is 1, hydrogen is 2. This big group going in this direction, they're both 2 carbons. But this is carbon, carbon, and it's got an OH attachment. So that's going to be a higher priority than this. So hydrogen is 4, OH is 1. This is going to be 2 in that direction, and 3 in that direction. Okay, so let's see what we got here. This direction was priority number 2. This direction was priority number 3. Okay, so once again, 2, 3, we're starting that clockwise trend, which is what we want for R if number 4 is back. Well, we get to choose, so we're going to put it back. H goes here, OH goes here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's our R, and our hydrogen is back, so what we see on paper is what we get. So this is RR, and of course now the rest of them are easy. Reverse 2 groups. Let's make that a CH3 though. How about that? You're probably thinking the whole time. So CH3, up, down, CH2, CH3, dash and wedge, just like I had over here. And yeah, you can do all kinds of, reverse these two groups and all kinds of stuff like that, but why? It just makes it more complicated. Up till this point, I drew exactly the same drawing. So I couldn't mess up and accidentally reverse two things. Everybody's in the same place. I'm just going to switch OH from the wedge to the dash and H from the dash to the wedge. And I know now I haven't accidentally, by completely changing the drawing, reversed more things. OH from the wedge to the dash, H from the dash to the wedge. And this is then SS. Okay? Now, to draw RS, draw the chain, everybody the same. Dash, 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 wedge, dash, and wedge. As little change as possible. I'm drawing RS and this is RR, which means this is R, and I want it to be R here. So keep it the same. But I'm drawing RS and this is RR, so this is R, and I want it to be S. So OH from the wedge to the dash, H from the dash to the wedge. And now I have RS. One more to go, right? Because this is not a meso in this case. Again, everybody the same as the original. Don't mess with stuff. Dash, dash, dash. Wedge. Don't move it up here suddenly, because then you've made a second movement. Okay? Anything you do is an additional movement. Okay? Putting these from up here to down here, that would have been moving two things. Then if I reversed them, I'm moving more than two. So everybody identical to your original drawing, except we're going to move two things. I want SR, and I'm basing it off of RR here, so I want this to change. This is R, and I want it to be S, so switch those two. H from the dash to the wedge, OH from the wedge to the dash. Okay, so I switched them. I want SR, this is RR, so this is R, and I want R, so keep everything the same. Change as little as possible. And that is number B or whatever of 12. And since we got one of each, we're going to go ahead and call that enough. We had one where we had a meso and one where we didn't. And I know there's more of them, and you can do that and check your answers.